Hey guys, Mr. Ridgway here. Hope you're having a good day, no matter where you are, what you're doing, what time you're watching this at. I thought I'd go ahead and get our next lesson recorded since I've got some time here. But we have to get into some actual migrations that since we are doing this unit on geodemography, and we're now actually going to look at some good historical examples of some real migrations that actually have occurred. Now, migrations that are more recent history, we're going to save those for another day, such as immigration from Latin America or from North Africa into Europe. That's been going on for a while now. We'll save those for next lesson, but we've got some really interesting historical stuff that we're going to check out. So get the warm up done, okay, and then you can go on with me to the next slide, and you can see here that we have a kind of three-prong influence kind of focus. Number one, we have to understand what the difference are between push and pull factors. We'll get into what those are, and we'll talk about what they mean. And then with that, then we're going to take a new one, a remain factor, and we'll look at three historic migrations, and we're going to kind of use them as tools to help kind of flesh out what push and pull factors look like. Last but not least, we're going to reflect on the influence of some push and pull factors in your own family's life. Before we can actually look at some of these examples and classify them, you need to understand what push and pull factors are. For example, and then some other things too, like how are migrations different than migrants? How are they different than refugees? So let's get into all that. Okay, go ahead, get these essential questions down, okay? When we talk about migration, something that's really, really important to remember is that people are complex human beings, right? And we do things not just for, singular reasons. Very, very uncommonly do we sometimes do things that's just for a single reason. There's lots of factors that influence our actions, and that is certainly true when we talk about movement. The other thing, though, is that even though we're going to talk about push and pull factors today, one of the other objectives that we have is that once that migration actually occurs, there are some very profound effects that happen because of that. And so we will kind of go and explore some of those effects, at least kind of on a very kind of beginning level. We'll get into some more kind of other big kind of events and effects of migrations here later. But for now, we're just going to kind of really just kind of hammer in on push, pull, and remain and what those are. So let's get right to it. Okay. Historians, we like to classify migration into basically two different kinds, and I've added a third one in here because I think it's kind of a missing piece of the puzzle. So we have push, we have pull, and we have remain factors. When we think about why people move, these are like the three biggest categories that we tend to cut stuff up into. So for example, push factors. Okay, I'll move my face here so you can actually see what I'm doing. These are factors that encourage people to want to leave an area. It's what pushes them out. These are very, very commonly negative things. Okay, generally, if I could have you write down like a phrase, it's things that are oftentimes tied to like instability or lack of safety. So war, famine, unemployment, not good things. Okay, tend to be push factors. Pull factors are like a magnet, things that pull, that attract people to an area. So it's going to be things like kind of in some ways the opposite, like the chance at having a job or opportunities, or perhaps it could be family that might be pulling you to there, a sense of safety or stability. And then remain factors are the ones that I've added in here, and I think this is also important because it kind of helps fill in a piece of the puzzle, so to speak. And that is, there are things that discourage migration. And these things encourage you to stay where you are. So if you're like, for example, one of the people who you want to stay in your hometown that you've always grown up in, it might be family that might be kind of pushing you to feel that way. It could be maybe this is like, for example, like let's say you get a job like an army base, okay? And there's, obviously you're going to have to be tied to that location because you can't just pick up the army base and move it with you, right? There's other kinds of routes that kind of keep people stuck in one spot. The thing that you need to remember is that migrations, okay, and we'll look at some examples here later, is that even when like migrations happen, like a person does migrate, oftentimes there are push, pull, and remain factors all flowing at the exact same time. So again, just something to remember. The world is not super black and white in terms of that. So what I'd like you to do, and I'll have you guys do this. I believe this is on. I believe this is on your notes. So, and I'll make sure I make note of this on the slides. Is I'd like you to put down what are your own push, pull, remain factors for your own future. What do you think? And try to maybe get down like 2 maybe on each one. What's pushing you out of your hometown right now? What's pulling you somewhere else? And what's encouraging you maybe to stay put. Okay. Now we do need to also in the mini lesson here with discussing the fact that migrants are not the same thing as refugees. And this is a very, very common misconception. I've encountered it a lot. We tend to kind of toss these words around like they're the same thing, and they're not. We have to actually kind of go to international law to discuss why this gets divided up the way that it does. Okay, so international law declares that a person can only be a refugee if they are leaving an area because of violence or the threat of violence. And at that point, then, a person can be classified as a refugee by the country that they are maybe perhaps traveling to or are in at that moment. The thing, though, okay, is that, let's say, for example, like there's a massive famine in your country and you leave, that is not a refugee. That is that at that point, though, you're just a migrant. So this is kind of the, again, rightly or wrongly, how we make this distinction in terms of most international lawyers do, is that most people tend to fall into the category of migrants rather than refugees, unless violence is a factor, in which case then that person is a refugee. I would really, really encourage you to watch this video right down here. What does it mean to be a refugee? Because, and this kind of gets to more current events, there's so much going on in the world right now that there are currently, at least as of 2019/2020, more displaced people, generally speaking, than there ever have been in the last at least 10-20 years. So it's something that you definitely want to keep your eye on in terms of current events that are going on. Okay? So what I'd like you to do now that you understand what push, pull, remain factors are, okay, is we're going to look at some historical migrations, and I'd like you to classify them, okay, and look at some of the motivations that some of the people participating in them had, okay? So you pick 2 of these 3. Okay, it is up to you which 2 you would like to pick. You can skip one. We've got the Great Migration, which talks about the migration of African Americans from the South up to the North, and this is anywhere from basically, excuse me, World War I up into about World War II, which is incredibly, incredibly significant. The Bantu migrations, which is a historical migration that happened back in Africa. And then we've also got the European explorers. Now, each one of these 3 things is a different thing. So, like, for example, like the Great Migration, there's a video there. There's some notes you might read, a short reading. The Bantu, again, migrations is a reading. The European explorers is a choose your own adventure game. But no matter what, you should find push, pull, remain factors in there. What I would like you to do, okay, is you click on Graphic Organizer, and I'd like you to chart, okay, the 2 migrations that you picked with the name of the migration, push, pull, and remain factors, okay? And then tell me what some of the effects of your particular migration were. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Like the Bantu migration spreads the Bantu languages, right? Which is a huge effect because many languages in Africa can trace their ethno-linguistic roots back to that particular language tree. Again, just an example. So, but again, main thing here, looking at push-pull remain factors. Now, once you've done that then, okay, I don't know why I left this ghost in here. We don't need that. There we go. I'd like you to take a moment, okay, this is for next, like thinking about for next block, and kind of our project coming up in the future. Here is what I would like you to do, okay? So we're going to take some time in class, and if you're doing this online, you'll kind of have to do it on your own. I would like you to, for the rest of the class, pick the members of your family who you are going to include on your data chart and family tree. Okay, again, you can look at mine as a model and it as an example. You should be shooting for at least 10 individuals. I'd say probably no more than 15 or 16. Okay, I would like you also to set a time to interview them so that you can ask them about where they've lived, how long, those push-pull factors, okay, all the things in the data chart project that we talked about. I'd like you to then set a time with them and get it done, okay, by next Friday. So we will spend the rest of the class, again, giving you some time to work on this, and I really look forward to, kind of taking the next steps in our project with this. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.